The Business Simplicity Podcast, where leaders share their most successful strategies and the failures that inspired them, so business owners and managers can avoid the suffering and reap the benefits. With your host, Chris Parker.
And this is Chris Parker, and I'm speaking with Laurent Silvestri, who I think is in Paris at the moment. That's where he oftentimes is. And he's a colleague, actually, because something I don't speak about too much on the podcast is what I do during the day. And I work with a company called Dstny. And so does Laurent. He is the Chief Strategic Alliance Officer and one of the co-founders that have come into the group. I'm sure he's going to tell us all about that. So, Laurent, thank you so much for joining. I guess the opening question is really and you've done so much. In the briefest way possible, can you just share what is it that you're busy with? What is it that Laurent does?
Yeah. I've been an entrepreneur in the telecom industry during the last 25 years, and I founded 6-7 companies. I think 6, but you always create multiple companies around one project. And I've been surfing on the different waves of the deregulation of the French telecom industry during 25 years. In 2005, I founded a French telecom service provider called OpenIP that merged with our Belgian counterpart that was Dstny, a Belgian company, in 2020. And today I am the co-founder, as you said, of the Dstny Group, and I hold the position of Chief Strategic Alliance Officer, mostly working on sharing our vision and strategy and creating long-term links and partnerships with the Dstny ecosystem, between Dstny, the people inside the company, and our ecosystem, our partners, our main customers, other vendors. That's pretty much what I do from the morning to the night. So sharing the vision we have, how we see the market, how we see our competition, how we see the evolution of the needs of the users, and how we believe we can participate to the market and create opportunities for our partners and our ecosystem.
Laurent, I'd love to hear in your words, because we call Dstny, I guess the largest or the leading European cloud communication provider. What does Dstny do, or how would you describe this market to someone who is completely not involved?
Well, I would say that, we work on the telecommunication industry, on the communication industry, providing business communication tools to our customers, to enterprises, whether they are SMEs or larger enterprise, and we are facing a pure transformation. The market has always been transforming. The technology is always helping the market, any market, to transform. But our industry is really facing a huge transformation with the arrival of the cloud 10 years ago and voice over IP. The fact of transporting communications over the IP network, over internet, and the digitalization of the companies, of any user, of anyone, actually, our industry, but every company needs to industrialize, to digitalize, and use those new tools. So we help companies use the technology the best way they can in order to perform. We try to digest the evolutions of the market, of the technologies, and launch what we feel are coherent product for the users. Simple to use, simple to be efficient. And we also try to embrace and train and give opportunities to our channel partners, who are service providers, large service providers, telecom carriers, whether they are fixed carriers or mobile carriers. They're all looking for that opportunity to bring new services to their customers. And that's what we do. Actually, we develop those products on one side, and then we train our partners so that they can bring them to their customers the more efficiently they can. I think that's pretty much what we do. I mean, the market is evolving a lot. We're facing also with the transformation of the technologies, disruption from new entrants. So of course, the market was driven by, I would say, legacy players that were selling boxes, PBXs, and now everything is in the cloud as a service, much simple to use, simple to deploy. So we really create that technologies that helps people interact correctly and work correctly between each other. I mean, every business is like, communication is around interactions and making things better between people so that they can communicate easily. So we've seen with the pandemic, of course, the arrival of the video conferencing. It's not an arrival. I mean, actually, it exists since 20 years, but now it's like the main tools that the people want to use. But that's not the only thing. I mean, most of the companies want to do business online now, so they have to face new challenges. People who wants to communicate through their social network, or how you're going to communicate through your website with a chatbot, for instance. So everything is transforming, and we try to create the technology that is simple and understandable and acceptable for the users, with the desire to help companies perform better with our technology.
And I think you were presenting to over 150 people, I think last week at a quarterly event, and about the market dynamics. And I think you said that the European market space for cloud communications is north of 400 billion. Is that where it's going? This is quite a large market.
Yeah, it is. It is a large market. It's equivalent to the US probably. But it's more complex. It's a very complex market because we have 27 countries that are in the EU. Of course, 27 different languages, different cultures, and also markets that are not maturing the same way because the culture of each country embraces the technology a different way and at a different pace. So yeah, the European market is a real opportunity. We believe it's an opportunity for the people who understands how the market works and respect, I would say, each local specificities. And that's why we want to be strong. Actually, I would say we think that with our European culture and our multi-culture that we have in the Dstny Group, we can better respond to those customers and probably create what we believe as a leader on the European market, able to probably compete better on the market than some of the US players.
And Laurent, I'm curious for yourself, why are you busy in this industry? Why is this important to you? I
think actually I like this industry because every year there's a new challenge. Every year it's changing all the time. It's evolving continuously, and you need to adapt, and you need to understand, and you need to be synchronized with the market, which I love. I mean, I love those unstable situation where you need to adapt continuously, and you need to. What I've been doing for 25 years is explaining to the people what's happening on our market and how our technology or how the technologies can better solve problems and bring opportunities for our customers, for the channel partners that we have. So, I mean, what I really like is this continuous transformation, creating continuous opportunities.
Now we're coming close to the because it is a crazy market, and you're working with an incredible company, one of the leading, if not the leading company in this space, evolving and changing every day, and a multiple time entrepreneur, and basically just delightful person. So it's wonderful to have you on this. Is there something, and we've had a bit of a pre-conversation about this, but as a seasoned entrepreneur, is there something that you can recommend as a strategy or tactic that other business people and aspiring business people could learn from that would help them succeed, and perhaps through simplification or succeed in other ways?
Well, I've been thinking, of course, I've been preparing that podcast because you asked me to, and I love to be there. Thank you for that. And I think that this simplicity story is very interesting, because actually what you do every day, you don't really, it's not complex. It's always simple. That's something that the brain does automatically. So I've been thinking of what I do every day in any interaction since a long time now. As I said, I've been an entrepreneur all my life. When you create a company, at the beginning you're alone, but from the beginning you need to take immediate decisions with your lawyers, with your accountant, with the banker. That's what you do when you create your company, and then you need to package your product and go to your customers and have them buy your products for the first time. So it's really very exciting from the beginning. And then the more you develop your company, the more you face difficult situations. And I would say that, it's every day. It can be a conflict with a customer. It can be a conflict with an employee. It can be a negotiation with a strategic partner, with a customer too. And in all those situations that are good or bad or challenges, I would say, where you need to interact to solve the problem or to make the deal, there is always one way to find the solution, and it's a good discussion. But you need to have that good discussion with the right person. So you need to define who is the right person to talk to. Sometimes it's clear, but sometimes it's not. And if you don't talk to the right persons, sometimes it can be counterproductive. So you really need to define who is going to be that person who's going to solve the problem with you. And then you need to prepare your meeting, because it's not always that simple. And you need to define what is the best story to solve the problem. And that's really where what I want to share. I think part of my simplicity tactics that I've been using during the every day since a very long time now. I don't know where and how I learned it, but that's really what contributed to my personal success over time. And I can now go deeper if you want.
Well, you said you didn't know how you learned it, but I'm curious, how did you learn it? Meaning, was there a certain experience or I don't know, failure or screw up that like, oh, that went wrong? And I don't know.
Of course, day after day, meetings after meetings, understanding, analyzing. Why did I succeed? Why did I not succeed? What happened? You need to have a very open spirit to find solutions. And sometimes you're not prepared for that. You're not open. I don't know. You woke up badly and you don't have the good state of mind, I would say. So that's why I said, you really need to prepare your meetings. And I have a strong empathy. That's what people say. I like to analyze all situations from different point of view. And I think it's very important to avoid looking at things too self-centeredly. If you are too concentrated on yourself, you don't find solutions, actually. You must understand what would be a win of course, what is good for you or for your company. That's important. But you don't solve problems like that. You only analyze them from one side. So you must adapt your ideas and make sure that they are understandable and that they are acceptable from the other party. So for that, you must understand the other party. You must gather information sometimes on the other party, on their market, on the situation exactly, on how they feel that situation. You must analyze them, understand how the person thinks and sees that situation. How does she want to solve it? What is the other party win? Actually, I would say, what are the alternatives, the next steps? So you really need to understand what is the situation from the beginning to the end, how you're going to solve it, how the other sees that situation. Can you find a solution that will both serve my interest and please the other party? And if you don't do that, actually, you never make a good deal.
Well, it feels like, and you used the word empathetic and maybe collaborative, and this seems to be really like a partnership approach. Because if you're approaching a negotiation this way, some people might say, well, let's get the most that we can, but it doesn't seem like that's your intention. So how do you prepare yourself for those kind of conversations? Because I guess there's a preparing for the meeting, but there's also a preparing yourself to hold that empathetic approach, perhaps even when the other party is being a bit more aggressive. I don't know. How do you do that? How do you prepare yourself for those engagements and that almost giving or balanced approach?
As I said, I mean, for me, you always need to tell a story, a good story, a story that people will understand and accept. And to prepare that story, of course, you start to tell the story to yourself, and you really try to understand if the person that you will be facing, the other party, will understand that story, will accept it, and will find it fair. I think that you need to be fair in every situation, personal situation, professional situation. If you're not fair, you don't have a long-term position. It's just like short-term, you win, but people will look at you badly at the end. So I try to be fair. I do not protect. Of course, you need to protect your interests in your company, but you really need to understand how the other party sees the situation, and you need to do it with lots of honesty. I would say with objectivity. You need to do it frankly, because it's always easy to on one side, and don't listen to the others. But it's not the word right now, but we're not dictators, right? That's not how I see life personally. I don't want people to feel that it's only my way. I think it's our way, and that's really long term. I don't want to say I'm just a good guy. Huh? I mean, it's strategic. Sometimes you need to have people accept something that is not acceptable at the beginning. So it takes time. It takes a conversation. But at the end, your story needs to be a win-win and not a win-loss for the other party. And you need really to understand how the other party is going to perceive every word you're going to say, and your story from the beginning to the end. So that's why I say a story, because the story brings the persons to evolve and understand, and maybe you can have the other party co-construct that story with you. And that's really what I'm trying to do. Maybe it's manipulation. I don't think so, but I don't perceive it like this actually. But if you help people deblock their situation, deblock their one way also, because I mean, if you have two people talking one way each other, it doesn't work. So they need to evolve themselves. So you need to be fair. You need to create a positive environment so that you are able to talk frankly together. You need to have the right posture, the right story. The way you explain the situation and drive the conversation to a common solution is really key. And as I said, I think you must co-create it with the other party and together come to the right decision and find a mutual way to solve the problem together. So as I said, you prepare a story, but that's your story, and maybe you're going to have to adapt it during the conversation. It's okay until you always concentrate on your win, of course, because a win is a win, and if you adapt it, maybe it's not a win anymore. So you can only please the other. You know what is your situation, you know what will be a win for you, and it needs to be a win for the other party. And I think that my best wins have always been win-wins, because I believe that they are future-proof, they last, and they always come back later with a new opportunity. It's for me, it's personally, it's the foundation of who I am and how the people remember me and what I represent to others. And it's probably my values that are behind that.
I think in starting to close the conversation a little bit, but my intuition is I want to open the conversation, but we have a limited amount of time. Dstny is founder driven, and there's a number of original founders and additional co-founders, and therefore it's very personality driven, almost by definition. And I see a lot of the values of the founders in the company. That's one of the reasons why I decided to join, even though I still do my podcast and I have my other things going on as well. So and now these worlds are starting to collide a bit. And the desire of Dstny with a particular European focus to simplify the lives of people by providing really, seamless, friendly cloud communication solutions. It's a lovely story. And in your role as strategic alliance officer, I imagine you're sharing that story with honestly organizations that are much bigger than us in some cases to bring those stories together. Can you give an example of something like that, of how this collaborative, empathetic approach is helping you, obviously without any strategic insights or commercial details, but how is there a time recently when you have been able to bring these stories together to in a win-win situation?
Well, actually, I think that the way I present things, the way I present Dstny, I try to be very neutral somehow, and present a vision of what we're doing, but not exactly how we are doing it. It's more our vision of what companies are facing and what are going to be their challenges in the future, how we're constructing our strategy and how we should be positioned in a couple of months or years. Try to give a vision of what we're doing. And also, I think that, it's for me very clear that Dstny will not win alone. We have very strong competitors like Microsoft or Zoom or RingCentral that are very strong in the US or worldwide for some of them. And most of our strategic partners that we have around us, it can be hardware manufacturers or large service providers. They want to also co-construct their future, and they are open to a conversation where we co-construct. I've seen it in actually every conversation I had. Most of the US players come with their vision and their strategy and their objectives and their way of doing business, and take it or leave it. Actually, that's not how we want to do it. I think we are constructing from a vision that is fair, because it's dedicated to our customers. It's dedicated to our partners. We want them to succeed. And we know that if our customers and our partners will succeed, we will succeed. So explaining to the market how we see that success of our partners and our customers really embraces our strategic partners to work with us and do that together. And it's probably the main difference, or the key thing that I do today. I mean, we are not suprematic. we want to participate to that transformation. We want to bring those things to the market. We know that we will not be alone. That competition is always positive. It's a challenge. It helps you evolve. It forces you to evolve and bring new ideas continuously and challenge yourself. So competition is very important, and it's okay for us. I mean, the market is huge, as you said at the beginning. We don't want to have 100% of it. We don't care about having 100%. Actually, we just want to have fun and make people happy, doing those things together. And I think that the best success for us is a customer that says, "Thank you, you made me successful with your products." And that thing that I mean, I had those conversations with Poly, for instance, who's a really big company now, part of HP. They don't want to have only one customer at the end. They don't want to work only with Microsoft. It's okay. Competition is okay for everybody. And if you don't have multiple customers and you only have one customer at the end, nothing works. It's not good. You have too much pressure from that customer. So alternatives are important, and we want to be a very strong alternative on the market. And we want people to feel comfortable with us. We want to be open, flexible, agile, adaptable, and not like dictators.
Well, it's Laurent, thank you for sharing. As you're speaking, I'm reflecting a bit on the market, and you talk about players like Microsoft, and so many players are both our collaborator and our competitor. And in an ecosystem like this, you have to be able to operate like that, because just go down the list of our alliance partners and stuff. We're probably competing with them in different ways as well, through maybe different channels and different things, and that's actually okay. And I think it's a beautiful place to wrap up, which is, if we're having fun and if we're making people happy and the customers are satisfied, and it's not all the customers, but at least the ones that choose to work with Dstny. Outstanding. Laurent, thank you so much. If people want to learn more about what this Dstny thing is all about, you can go to dstny.com. Learn more about it. Services are provided in a number of European countries, and most likely more to come. And if you want to connect with Laurent, you can find his LinkedIn on the show notes, but it's Laurent Silvestri on LinkedIn. So Laurent, outstanding. Thanks so much for making this fun and having some happy times with me, including this podcast.
You're welcome.
So, thanks, Laurent.
Really welcome. I hope you're going to remember my simplicity story and the tools I use to do business every day. See you soon.
Thank you for listening. Download the Simplicity Toolkit from Ebullient.com to discover the power of the Simplicity Scan and Sprint. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast on your favorite player.